This is an awesome moment for the expansion of our collective consciousness. We are watching, observing, and living in this now moment where there are different layers of reality being experienced simultaneously. And just that observation in and of itself will tell you that we are moving into the next stage of our human evolution. Never before has it been so clear that reality is a perspective, a frequency, a vibration. And what we are truly being asked to do at this moment is integrate that all within us, individually and collectively. This is a time of integration, a time of convergence. During this eclipse season, we are going to see all the shadows rise in order for them to be lit up and burned within the fire of transmutation, of alchemy. Because how can we begin a new journey into the abundance matrix if we are still shouldering these secrets, dragging this baggage behind? The answer is no, we cannot. We must let it in and let it go. Hello, beautiful beings of light, and welcome to this Galactic Energy Report. There is so much to talk about this time, and I'm excited. We have so much going on from a galactic perspective. Some truly pivotal moments are wrapping up this year, and it's really building momentum. And as usual, it's all working together in this divine coordinated effort to push us further into our expansion. So the last time I left you guys, we were just beginning this process, which I really regret to inform you is still underway, of cutting these red tape soul contracts. We had just moved into a 0 point of the abundance matrix. So the abundance matrix came online during the equinox, and we reach this total global 0 point. So, with the equinox, and with that 0 point, the abundance matrix was birthed into our material realm. So no longer was it an exercise in our imagination or an idea. It was truly here, and it is our future. It is our now, and it is our future. But with that, what if you remember, with this 0 point, this creation point, okay, what was happening, what I was shown is that we were wrapping up. Okay, so if this was us and we're in this 0 point, okay, and if you remember from all of the tethering videos, the 0 point is where all of our power comes from. It's where all of our manifestation abilities come from, is the 0 point. And the Earth reached this total global 0 point, and we were in the process of, if you remember from the harvesting video I did, we're moving from here. If this is the grid, the third dimensional grid, remember, a dimension is really just a point of perspective. Okay, so if here was our third dimensional grid that we were moving out of, and then we birthed this fourth dimensional grid, which came online during the 12/21 portal of 2020, and we've been moving towards bringing that towards material realization, which just occurred during this last equinox. And we've been moving towards uncording from that, okay? And then at the same time, we had the the 8 sphere energies, the inverted matrix, however you want to look at that, which has been, with its intention, projecting onto us the lack matrix. Okay, so simultaneously, we have had all of this change and expansion going on. All right, and these red tape soul contracts, these inorganic timelines, this inorganic quantum entanglement, clearing of the Akash, however you want to look at it, has been coming forward so that we can begin to bring these inorganic timelines into their own 0 point and bring back the organic moon, okay? And not these inorganic timelines, not the inverted matrix, the shadow matrix, okay? So this was all happening simultaneously. All of this was happening from the 0 point onward because we cannot bring these inorganic timelines into the abundance matrix, into the 4D reality, and then, obviously into the 5D. And so if you remember, what they showed me was that if the bulk of our consciousness was here at this 0 point, that there were 6 other timelines that we were clearing. This is just another way of looking at this. That's not really the best way of putting this. Hold on. Okay, so here is the bulk of our consciousness here in this 0 point. And we have been moving through 7 total timelines within any given day. And the goal in all of this, right, was to clear away and bring into a more balanced state all of our timelines. It's the clearing of the Akash. It's the clearing away of these red tape soul contracts. It's the clearing away of inorganic timelines that were never intended to be a part of the blueprint moving forward. Okay, so it is the purging of the paradigm of good and evil. It's coming into this understanding that we have played all roles throughout our lifetimes, and that we were intended to have the experience, purge the experience through the moon. Some would call that a second sun, and move that up and out through our pillars of light. And what happened with the inverted matrix, the 8 sphere, however you want to look at that, was that these experiences known to us as the past were being looped over and over and over and over again. And when that happened, we became quantumly entangled into the earth plane, and we were not able to have enough velocity to wink up and out of this atmosphere, and we began reincarnating over and over and over again. So if you want to look at that as karma, if you want to look at that as a loop, however you want, entanglement, however you'd prefer to view that so that it makes sense for you. But in essence, when I last left you, our goal, okay, was to move through these very minimally denser and lighter timelines and bring that to a point of neutrality, a 0 point of neutrality. Okay. And that is the work that we've been doing up until this date. Now we've moved into Scorpio season, and Scorpio is all about death and rebirth. Okay. So we're seeing that the celestial grids and energies are lending themselves to this process, as they always will, as they always are. Whatever is, happening from a macro level is happening on a micro level, and vice versa. It's all a mirror for us to behold. And so we saw this new moon in Scorpio on November 4th. And that was the beginning of this cycle that's going to lead us into the 11/11 portal. And then after that, we are going to see the lunar eclipse in Taurus. And that is on the 19th of November, the 18th, 19th, depending on where you are in the world, as I know that I have people watching this from all over. And really, this is then bringing us to a closing of this cycle. Okay, so you can think, the 0 point was the beginning of a cycle. Okay, it was a pure potential, point of pure potential. Okay, so we reached this 0 point with the equinox, and it was a 0. Okay, it was a 0 of pure potential. We had brought this into the material realm. Now we are moving from the 11 into the 11/11 portal, okay, into creation. Okay, we're moving from a 0 to a 1. And so what began as pure potential is now going to move into creation. But before we can get to this point where we are creating, okay, we have to clear away everything in between that no longer resonates, that no longer can make the journey into this abundance matrix. And so the new moon on November 4th began this process. Now the portal will open on 11/11. This is a gateway energy. This is a creation energy. So if you think about the number 11/11 and the connotations it has in numerology, okay, it is the number of creation. It is the number of awakening. It's the number of spiritual awakening. Many people on their spiritual journey and path will begin seeing these repeated numbers as the first sign that the universe is actually in co-creation with them, that we are in co-creation with the universe. So it's very powerful. It's a very powerful energy. It is a portal point. It's the next point. It's a creation point for the collective. Okay. The collective energies are going to now begin creating the abundance matrix for all. So we can look at this as the first seed that will be planted into the abundance matrix and into the hearts of the collective consciousness of their the beginning of their awakening. And the other thing that they really wanted me to explain to you is that we've seen our timelines speed up exponentially. Okay, if you're sharing energy here with me, you have been on this journey for quite some time. You are firmly rooted in a 4 to 5D dominant resonant frequency, and your gifts have come online. You're still exploring them. You are in the vibrational frequency, the broadband of the abundance matrix of the 4D. Okay, and with that, you are about 5 years ahead of the rest of the collective, and that was for for a reason and purpose, because someone had to be the first. There always has to be someone creating that template. And so the main thing to keep in mind here is, yes, the collective is purging these Akashic records, this quantum entanglement, these red tape soul contracts, and you will be too on an individual level. But most of what you're seeing right now we need to understand this from the perspective of linear time, that there is no linear time, that this is really just ghosts embodied. It is the shadows rising to the surface in order for them to be brought to the light and integrated. It is bringing everything to a 0 point so that we can then begin to create. And we cannot bring that to a 0 point unless we integrate the dark and the light. And that is a process that we're endeavoring right now. It is understanding that we are all things. We have played all roles. We have walked all paths, and that it's all within us and not outside of us. And it's bringing that within ourselves, and in the acceptance of that, and then moving into a creation state. But where this can be, where this can really throw us off track is if we are not in that initiated state of the magician, if we are still creating from the 5 senses and not the 6th, if we are looking to the reflection in the dreamscape of our reality and calling that our now, and in essence that is our past. So the biggest advice that I was given from the Tarot group during this whole process, moving from this new moon that we just had to the 11/11 portal of creation, and then into the Taurus lunar eclipse, is to embody your state, embody your state, embody your state. And understand that what you are seeing are ghosts embodied. It is a reflection. They are walking shadows, and they will take you for a ride if you agree to that, right? If you agree to that. But if you can see it from the perspective, from the initiated magician, for what it is, then you are going to remain in neutrality. You're going to remain from you're going to embody your 0 and then move into your creation point. And I don't know about you, but after this, the last energy shift that we had, it was like all of a sudden there was some breathing room again. It was like we lost our heads and now they were screwed back on. And I have had some just beautiful moments of clarity and just overwhelming unity and love and bliss. And I am allowing those moments to carry me through and to keep me grounded in the state that I am now embodying. And the image they showed me is of a top, and if you think of that top spinning, and of that, being our energy centers and our torrid of energy, and if we're balanced, then we are the eye of that storm. We can receive everything in neutrality. We can see these ghosts embodied and these shadow elements walking in reality, and realize that we can receive them in neutrality, and realize that they no longer hold the power of duality. We can realize that we've walked all paths, we've played all roles, and they no longer have sway and power. We can receive them into us as, the dark and the light, and we can be centripetal in our access and really embody this state of neutrality and this state of abundance. And that is what we are being asked to do. This is all, moving us to this Taurus lunar eclipse. And that is where it's all going to come to a head, where we're going to see this unconscious programming. It will come up, and we're going to be at a choice point, asking ourselves, does this align with me? Is this energetically correct? And we are going to see what is covert, what is control, what is manipulation. And for us, this is really going to be about revelation. We have been on this path for the last 5 years of, embodying the state of the age of Aquarius, which we're just rising into. We're just beginning. It just began on 12/21 of 2020. And so we are in the infancy. But for us, because we are moving through these timelines more rapidly, because we are already holding the dominant resonant frequency of the abundance matrix, we had to be a first. There had to be someone to set this template. For us, we are now, it's more important than ever that we hold fast to what we've created here as the architects, and understand that we have already been immersed in this Aquarian energy and this mental energy, whereas everyone else is just coming online to that. And this is the beginning of the collective's dark night of the soul, if you will. It's the beginning of the collective's spiritual awakening, of the creation of their spiritual awakening. And so it's a very exciting time, but it's also a time where we need to keep things in perspective. And if there are any remnants still for you of a lack matrix, if you're corded into the moon, the inorganic moon, okay, remember there's an organic and an inorganic moon. If you're still corded into the lack matrix, the inversion matrix, the 8th sphere energy, however you want to look at that, the inorganic Akash, this is going to come up for you, and you're going to see it for what it is. Okay. And this is the time where we are clearing out, the last remnants of that. And as well as, what we talked about, whoever is still holding, a 3D awareness, now they're going to have this seed planted in them. And they are going to begin to awaken to the fact that, there is more to reality than meets the eye. And the truth always rises. Oh my gosh, this just looks like loads of grids now. But, and it's hard to draw it out so you can see that it's not a separate world. It's not a separate thing. This is all working together in this grand symphony. But we are essentially here. We are here at this neutrality, this neutral point, and we are holding the grid now for the 4D reality, just as the Terra group is holding a grid at a 5D reality. And no matter what comes up over, these next few weeks and months, really, the most important thing we can do is stay in our 0 point. And begin to create, because we've done the work. And if there's things that you've missed along the way, then it's going to come up for you, between, this 11/11 portal and this eclipse is really your time to let go and begin really embodying the abundance matrix. There's enough. I'm enough. We're enough. There's enough to go around. My world is taking care of me. This is no longer a state of entertainment in my imagination. This is who I am. This is the version of me. I've done the work. I've let go. I am the eye of the storm. I can stand and receive anything in neutrality. And if things are coming up in my reality that are not in alignment for me, I can bless them and send them on their way. knowing now that I don't have to choose to be karmically entangled in that. This is my opportunity to let it go. And that process is really bringing us to this last solar eclipse in Sagittarius that we will see until 2029, which is, kind of, this solar eclipse is really our new beginning. It is our new beginning. And dependent on your dominant resonant frequency and where you are at in this process, it's either going to be a whole new world, or there are going to be lessons in which you are still going to have to acknowledge that you're integrating, that you're acknowledging, that you're bringing to the light of awareness, that you're alchemizing and neutralizing. And you'll know where you're at. You will know where you're at when you hit this solar eclipse in December in Sagittarius, because we're also working with the South Node in Sagittarius at a 0 point. This is a karmic clearing. This is our opportunity. We sometimes can get so myopic in our realities that we get too immersed in the cords and tethers, the feelings of it. And sometimes we need to stand back and look at this from a bird's eye perspective, that this is a clearing of the decks of all of the timelines, so that you can wink up and out when the journey is done. And I did a message the other day where I discussed my journey and the tarot group showing me this wave, and how we can either get down here in the fray and, the choppy waters, and we can just get bashed about, or we can be up here, and we can be riding, and that's our choice. That is our choice. Wherever we choose to reside on the vibrational scale is up to us. And it really doesn't matter what is going on in the dreamscape of reality. And that is becoming the initiated magician. That is creating from the sixth sense. That is the understanding of reality as the illusion and the experience school. And, that is moving, into this energy of the adept. And that is our journey, and that is our path moving into 2022. It is moving from the initiate, to the adept, and understanding that there is more than the five senses, because that was our 3D world. That was the world that we embodied before. That was the matrix that we held, and the understanding and the awareness that we had up until that point. And we have moved now from this 3D reality into this 4D reality. And of course, it's going to get messy. And of course, it's going to be a process. Of course, it's an unfolding. It's not a quantum jump. Of course, quantum jumps are possible, and it is possible, but holding that state is the tricky part. I mean, we can leap anywhere we want to go, but we have to be able to hold the state. And that is what we're learning now. We are learning to hold the state because we've stepped into the fullness of who we truly are. We've done the work. These are just shadows, and shadows can't hurt you anymore. So it's an exciting time. It is, our new processors have come online. That was the other thing after I, put out this last message, was that we had all these solar flares, if you've been watching. And really, those were, our light bodies getting this this big push into the fourth density matrix, the abundance matrix. Everything is always working to our advantage. And when we really, truly understand that, and when it doesn't need to be an affirmation, a validation, an intellectual exercise anymore, we can look with these brand new eyes and see that we are moving in this divine orchestration, this symphonic masterpiece, and we are always being supported. And that is, you know, the biggest thing to keep in mind over these next few weeks, and do what you need to do to let it go, to just surrender to the beauty and the abundance that is all around us whenever we choose to see it. And as often as possible, find the next highest state and the next highest state. And it isn't about, you know, being in bliss and you know, total, you know, high vibe energy all the time. It's more about neutrality. It's more about being in neutrality, because life is going to continue to happen, and we're not going to feel totally blissed out every single day, but we can feel neutral. We can observe. We can watch and see this multi-dimensional, multifaceted quantum reality, and understand that we are just a fractal of it, and that it's all moving into our expansion. And this is an exciting time for the universe, for the galaxy, for the omniverse, from all perspectives, and all the way down to a macro level. And we are going to continue to see that unfolding really into 2022. But in order to get there, you know, you're going to look around you and see that you're being held and protected, and you are going to see people going through the tumultuous unfolding that is the process of awakening, that is the catalyzing nature of awakening, and it is you that is holding neutrality and space for them. It is you that will be holding compassion. And it might be you that needs that from someone else, because there may be something that was buried deep below the surface that you know, was covert, that you had no awareness of, that might be cropping up. And in that moment, it is now up to you to say that is simply a shadow. It is simply a shadow, and I can receive that and integrate that into myself without forming a cord, an attachment to that. So, love, light, and blessings to all of you. I am so excited about the 1111 portal, this gateway. I'm so excited about this eclipse, this lunar eclipse in Sagittarius, you know, bringing light to the shadow. And I will definitely be making another video on the big bright bow that is the solar eclipse in Sagittarius in December, because that is really bringing us to our true new beginning. And it's going to be fantastic, and it's going to be crazy. So let it shake, let it crumble, and just ride. Just ride and let it ride. All right, guys. Big love. Bye.
Just wanted to say I love ya. Scully loves ya. Bye.